Maku, everybody. It's raining. Stop, start on the island. Yesterday it was the mainland. Today it's the island. There I say we've been beaten by the bog, and there's poto everywhere. Enough to have our own drama at the Dakar rally. But believe it or not, a Nigerian city has made it to the list of the coolest neighborhoods in the world. One of the stories on the Big Three. I'm Aghogho, Oboh, and you are welcome to Had Facts. First, the Big Three, the big first story we're going to be looking at 315 Nigerians in all, and I'm sure you followed us on 99.3 Nigeria Info, so it kept you up to date. Joy Carlo, aviation correspondent, keeping us up to date all from yesterday up till now. And Morning Crossfire was taking up that story. We will be looking at that in detail on the Big Three. Together with the first story, I talked about the coolest neighborhood. What Nigerian city made that list? And then finally, this story, this P&ID story that continues to twist and branch off in uncertain directions. Hours ago, a federal high court in Abuja convicted and subsequently ordered the winding up of Process and Industrial Development Limited and its Nigerian affiliate, P&ID Nigeria Limited, for charges of fraud and tax evasion. Something for us to think about. Remember, we're online. You can watch this as it happens on Facebook. I also will take your comments, and I'll let you know what to do when I open the phone lines at some point during today's show. At the top of the hour, Chukwude Zugu will be up with Eyewitness, and he'll be taking all your calls on development challenges affecting your community. That's going to be at the top of the hour, 4 p.m. And then we will be on the Big Hat Fact taking a closer look at security votes. The chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, that's Kayode Fayemi, he says that there will be chaos, absolute chaos, if security votes are stopped. And that drew a lot of criticism and, well, some support on social media when he made those comments. And civil society have for long have been at the crosshairs with the public affairs, public office holders on this thing they call security votes, preferring to describe them as slush funds. And then finally, we will have listed Lagosians with Ireti Bakare Yusuf, and she'll be having Yemisi Ransom Kuti in the spotlight. You know Yemisi Ransom Kuti of the famed Kuti family stock, and that's an interview you should watch out for on the listed Lagosian. There's also going to be Lagosa, fantastic drama series. So fasten the seatbelts and prepare to soar.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. 99.3 Nigeria info. Some technical issues here, but we're good to go. And I'm Aghogho Oboh, and it is 27 minutes past 3. And on the big three, big stories we're talking about today, stories that affect every single one of us. I'm going to come to the South African story straight away so that we can have a discussion on just how it has affected every single one of us. I know a number of people who had their relatives arrive at the airport and then said they were glad that they were able to make their way back to the country. And very, very importantly, now that they're back in the country, they can take it off from there. But these are all issues that I'm going to talk about a little later. And let me run quickly to the PNID story, which is developing very quickly, and reactions have begun to pour in. So, in case you didn't hear this already, the Federal High Court in Abuja today convicted and subsequently ordered the winding up of Process and Industrial Development Limited and its Nigeria affiliate, PNID Nigeria Limited, for charges of fraud and tax evasion in respect of the contract leading to the recent controversial judgment of a British court empowering the firm to seize about $9.6 billion worth of Nigerian assets. Justice Yang Ekwo, in his judgment, also ordered the forfeiture of the assets and properties of the two firms to the Nigerian government. The judge made the orders shortly after the two firms, through their representatives, pleaded guilty to the 11 counts instituted against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Now, while PNID Limited, incorporated in British Virgin Islands, is represented in the dock by its commercial director, Muhammad Kuchazi, PNID Nigeria Limited was represented by Adamu Usman, who is also a lawyer. Both men, interestingly, pleaded guilty on behalf of the companies to all the 11 counts read to them before Justice Ekwo on Thursday. Kuchazi was represented by his lawyer, Dandisin Akoronwa, while Usman represented himself. They were accused of, among others, fraudulently claiming to have acquired land from the Cross River State government in 2010 for the gas supply project agreement, which led to the $9.6 billion judgment. Now, after the defendants pleaded guilty to the 11 counts, an EFCC investigator, Usman Babangida, was called to the witness box for review of the facts, which was not opposed by the defense. Very curious development when you think about how PNID had gone stone-faced about this entire thing, saying he wasn't willing to yield on any of those grounds. So, documents relating to the controversial 2010 gas supply contract and EFCC's investigation activities were tendered and then admitted by the judge as exhibits without objection from the defense. The judge then went on to pronounce both firms represented by the two men guilty. That's PNID, which is the parent body to the PNID Nigeria, making a plea for mercy. PNID's lawyer, Akunwa, urged the judge to consider the forthrightness and candor of PNID by pleading guilty and not wasting the time of the court in trial. So, this is what it is. This is the PNID matter that's dragged for several years. It appears that the Nigerian government's legal position or legal attack to this whole thing is unraveled in this judgment. And so that's exactly what we see playing out here, and something that has been generating lots of comments as well as reactions on social media, and people beginning to ask just what exactly is going on here. I'm going to open the phone lines because I've got a number of other stories that I'd love you also to join in the conversation. Our number on social media 012770993 or 12771993 or 12772993 and 01277 3993. Tell me what you think about the PNID judgment at the court in Abuja, the Federal High Court, which has convicted as well as subsequently ordered the winding up of Process and Industrial Development Limited and its Nigerian affiliate. This is some remarkable development because PNID had earlier secured a judgment from an arbitration in the United Kingdom to the tune of $9.6 billion US, and there's been plenty of consternation on how this whole matter was treated by the government at different levels, because it was thought that they hadn't taken this matter serious. This whole thing began sometime in 2009, and 10 years down the line, we're still having the discussion because everyone who was supposed to play their role in this haven't exactly played their role. And that's it with the PNID story. Once more, Federal High Court in Abuja has convicted and subsequently ordered the winding up of Process and Industrial Development Limited and its Nigerian affiliate, PNID Nigeria Limited, for charges of fraud and tax evasion in respect of the contract leading to the recent controversial judgment of the British court. Call us and tell us what to make of this story. So while I go get more of the content on the South African story, I was talking briefly with Joy Kallio, our aviation correspondent, on what to do, on what happened. She came pretty late yesterday. You remember the landing permit wasn't granted to the Air Peace airline, which eventually was granted the permit, and then they had the flight happen shortly after. But an entire day we had to wait because this was something that we had to quickly make progress with. And so 315 in all evacuated. But that's not the end of the story, because we're still expecting some more, because the Nigerian consulate in South Africa says, as at 2 days ago, they had over 1,000 people who had registered their interest to leave South Africa. And those people will have to come in one of the chartered flights with Air Peace. When Abike Dabire was asked about that, she said, let's deal with the ones here first, and then we'll make public the schedule for the second batch of Nigerians from South Africa, for those who have voluntarily agreed to leave. This let's listen to the relatives of the Nigerians who came back from South Africa and hear what they had to say, and then speak to some other actors who Joy Kallio spoke with late yesterday night. So let's start with the relatives.
Are you in relation to any of the returnees?
Yes,
How long have you been here waiting for them?
over 3 years now.
And how long have your relatives been in South Africa?
Over 3 to 4 years he has been there.
And you are close.
In one way, I'm happy that he's not dead, but in another way round, I'm not happy that he did not achieve his aim. Because by going there, he had a purpose. So I'm happy that he's alive, that the government did well by bringing them back home safely. It's okay.
Do you have anything to say to the Nigerian government and to Lagos State government?
Nigerian government should just try and help Nigeria so that Nigerians will stop going outside. They will remain and achieve what they want. They should stop having the motive of without Nigeria they can't achieve, they can't get what they want. If Nigeria is up to that task.
I'm glad to receive my brother, today. I also want to thank the government for the effort, allowing them to be back to Nigeria safely.
How long has your brother been in?
He has been there for, I think, over 3 years now. He has been there. So when this incident started and we asked him to come back, and I think the situation there was so frustrating, so he couldn't make it until when the government came up for it.
How I feel? Oh, about which of them? Seeing my brother back. Oh, very happy. Like, I'm happy. I'm excited. Like, that kind of thing. You know what it looks like to see your brother. So,
was he affected in any way by the violent attacks?
Not really. He's a big boy anyway. He can take care of himself. I was not so scared anyway. But you know what it looks like. When you know that you have somebody there and a lot of things are going wrong.
So what do you have to say to the federal government?
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right, there you had excited relatives talk to our correspondent Joy Kalu at the airport yesterday. And many of those stories you're going to be hearing throughout the course of the week on how they went through the valley of the shadow of death, as is said metaphorically, and did overcome. Next, let's also listen to medical personnel, because a number of you wanted to know what sort of medical preparations and medical examinations those who return had to go through. Let's listen to some medical personnel explain the process when the Nigerians returned from South Africa.
Receive the Nigerian returnees from South Africa who were unfortunately made to or have to come back because of the unrest currently going on in South Africa, the xenophobic attacks and everything. So we are here to receive them, to do some preliminary medical checkup on them, to know their physical and to some extent their mental state of health, which we all know, will definitely at this point in time be a little disturbed or unstable, because most of these people already have a life there, probably married and are settled, and out of the blues you're making them move, and it's not a pleasure trip, neither is it a business relocation, it's a run for safety. So yes, we are here to receive them and then to do 1 or 2 checkups and see if there is any illness to appropriately refer them.
So what role do you think the government can play in making them to be stable psychologically and emotionally?
Okay, right now I am not about to place the whole demand on the government. Okay. I think it's a holistic approach. When I see them, if I should see these people as my brothers who are going through an unfortunate situation, then I should see it also as a duty I owe them, at least socially, to help them balance. Things like, this is Nigeria, we are good with making comments. See them, they don't go South Africa, they don't come back. All those comments shouldn't come in. This is where you should accept them, make them feel loved. The family members should accept them, because this is not, they were not repatriated.
All right, and there you had there you have the medical personnel explain just a routine procedure that had to happen while they returned. And Joy also did speak with Abike Dabiri-Erewa, who was at the head of this entire operation. She's the head of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. And listen to this interview.
There's medical checkup for them. We have a team here who voluntarily is doing their medical checkup. So if anybody has health issues, if we take care of, there are people here who want to train them in entrepreneurship. They are here to talk to them. They are getting cash for transportation to take them home. and that is some reasonable amount of money to take them home. We have support from Lagos State government. We have support from phone companies, MTN, Airtel. So they have phones, they have airtime that will last them almost 2 months. In fact, one of them was telling me that can sell is airtime and data. So, and then there's the Bank of Industry soft loan, which will be accessible to them. And then we're profiling them according to states. So state governors are expected to take responsibility for their citizens, and I'm glad they're all responding. So then we will keep in touch with them 2 weeks a month to do a needs assessment. So where are they now? What do they want to do? And we appeal to Nigerians, good-spirited Nigerians, to support them because they are not criminals. The only crime is that they are black and Nigerian.
All right, Abike Dabire were there, the head of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, and so that's with the South African story. I'll come to you at some point in time. I know a number of comments already coming up on WhatsApp, and open the phone lines at some point. We talked about this a great deal yesterday to this morning. We also spoke to a great extent on the South African Nigeria situation. Don't forget, President Buhari scheduled to meet with the South African President, Cyril Ramaphosa, on the 2nd, 3rd of October, and we'll keep you up to date with that one and see where it goes and find out whether the hurt has happened. And there's something very important that Abike Dabire spoke about, which is the needs assessment, to find out the next 2 weeks whether touching bases, many of those who've come back, if many of the things that concerns their health or their children and all of that has been taken great care of. Now, this other story is one story that, now listen very well. It's a story that's been going on for some time now, and it's a report which has been put out as the world's 10 coolest neighborhoods. Again, the world's coolest 10 neighborhood. So when you're deciding where to spend your vacation, you might think about famous attractions or gorgeous natural wonders. But if you really want to get to know a city like a local, your best bet is to look for the neighborhoods where they hang out, where the most interesting new restaurants, art galleries, as well as coffee shops emerge. So there's a list of 50, and I look at the top 10. At number 10 is Pilsen, Chicago. It's named for the Czech town where beer brewing has its roots. Pilsen has become known for its approachable cocoa. What makes this town great is because the local Mexican-American community presence also means you eat well. With tasty horanchis and toritas at seemingly every corner. And there's Embajadores in Madrid, Spain. Embajadores is the Spanish word for ambassadors, and that's fitting as many Madrid's ambassadors of cool have settled in the neighborhood. Number 8 is Astoria in New York. New York's borough of Queens is one of the most diverse places in the world. Number 7 is Strasbourg. Strasbourg Saint-Denis is in Paris. Passage du Prado is one of the most popular photo ops in Strasbourg. This fashionable quarter is close enough to Le Marais to enjoy all the iconic attractions. Number 6, the waterfront Hobart. It's in Australia. Tasmania is Australia's smallest state, but its capital city is one of the country's coolest spots. Number 5 is the historic Filipino town Los Angeles. LA's Asian American communities are rich and thriving, especially for their food culture. At number 4, we have Wedding in Berlin, but Wedding doesn't have bridal gowns. Instead, it's a neighborhood in the northwest section of Germany's capital. It is known as a place for 24-hour partying, and weddings actually on the side streets, quiet enough to guarantee you get a cool night's sleep. At number 3, I'm looking for my bell. You cannot believe it, but the coolest neighborhood at number 3. Thank you, Karim. Bam! Onikon, Lagos. Nigeria's biggest city is home to artists, writers, designers, and Nollywood actors. You might spot some of them hanging out in a cool Onikon where past, present, and future collide effortlessly. The central neighborhood on the Lagos Lagoon is home to some of the city's most important cultural offerings, including the National Museum and the Raleigh Gallery. Interestingly, I live around Onikon, and it's interesting to know that this neighborhood is ranked number 3 among the coolest neighborhoods in the world. It's amazing that we could have this sort of recognition and we're not shouting about it. Shimokitazawa is in Tokyo, Japan, and is nicknamed Chimokita by locals in the know. It is the second coolest neighborhood. And the last and the first coolest neighborhood is Arios, Lisbon, Portugal. City is known for mouth-watering seafood, live music, street art, and can be found on the streets of Arios, an up-and-coming neighborhood. So that's the report I was telling you about. Now, Nigeria's got a neighborhood which has been quoted on several international media. Coolest neighborhood, Onikon, Lagos. So I'm ready for your calls now. 01277 0993, 01277 1993, 01277 2993, 01277 3993. And tell me what you think about our 3 big stories today. First, with this landmark judgment, and waiting for the reactions to begin to pour in on what exactly does this mean with the previous judgment, now that the court has now ruled that PNID should be wound up and its assets forfeited. They say this one be as it get. The second one having to do with the South African Nigeria situation, where at least 314 have now returned and I guess beginning to settle down to their homes, and the government says they're going to do a needs assessment. By the way, they're giving 20,000 naira each as they arrived, and some other things have been promised for them. And the last one is Onikon, Lagos, named as third coolest neighborhood in the world. All right, who do we have? I see on standby. Release and let us talk to him or her. Constance. Hello, Constance.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're on to 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Look, I want to contribute strongly to this program. Yeah, with all what you talk about,
right?
In fact, when I heard you looking for your belt, I stood up myself. I'm in my room. I stood up. I said, "What the guy want to say?" But Nigerians should know that the world is even proud of Nigeria. You have the tier coolest, place for relaxation. Onikon, Lagos. There are many people that you wish to come to you.
I had to go look at that story over, and I realized it was on several international media that this story was on, and I said, wow. And we're going to other countries to seek for tourism. Well, right within our grasp, we have something that is already treasured.
Of course, for me, I'm not a Nigerian, though, but I was very, very proud that at least the tier in the world is formed right here in Lagos.
My man, you're from Liberia?
Oh, yes, I am from Liberia.
You be to Topman Boulevard?
Oh wow.
You can describe me for my livelihood. I'm a man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Peter. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Aghogho. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Peter from Ajawa Estate.
All right, Peter. Is it raining in Ajawa Estate today?
Yeah, it's raining, but it's okay now. Everywhere is calm now.
Yeah, you guys transfer the rain to us on the island, and we are seeing Wahala.
So what I'm trying to say is that based on the Lagos Museum, I've been there. It's very nice. Yeah, that is the very place you go to. You see all these white guys relaxing, but we don't know what we have most times. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice job.
Thank you. All right, keep those comments coming. Keep the calls coming in. Let's see and hear what you have to say. I go to WhatsApp. I have this comment from Chike in Akute. Chike says, the South Africans are deflecting the inadequacies of their government on foreigners, forgetting the same foreigners toil to bring down apartheid. After reading through what the mayor of Johannesburg said, I'm convinced that the lawlessness in SA is state-sponsored, 10.2 million unemployed. So, on the whole, the authorities, they are accountable. Rather, they choose jungle justice on innocent people. Thank you, Chike from Akute, for your comments. Where are the calls? Now I need to hear the calls, and I can't find them. When I'm about to leave, I will begin to see the calls coming. But just in case you just joined the conversation on 99.3 Nigeria Info, it's a cool day, and it's also a cool day and cool story I have as the last story that Onikon Lagos has been ranked among the third in 50 coolest neighborhoods. And it's been ranked this because of the community, the arts and culture. There's also another story I took up, which is Lagos State government handing 20,000 naira each to second batch of 350 Nigerians who voluntarily left South Africa following xenophobic attacks. And then the last one, which is the court winding up PNID and its Nigerian affiliate and ordering the forfeiture of its assets to the federal government. Who do we have there? Release and let go. Sheriff from Surulere.
Yeah, Aghogho. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm very cool this afternoon.
All right. Cool like Onikon.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
All right. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, Sheriff. I can hear you. Please go on.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I heard Onikon being among the top 3, coolest environments in the city of Lagos around the world. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. And for the South Africans that are just returning yesterday, I'm very happy they returned, like in Europe, Laya Talafia, And I want to tell the government to please let those guys feel at home. That's my comment. That's all I want to say. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Gabriel, also from Surulere. What's going on in Surulere today?
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Gabriel.
How you doing?
Brilliant. And you?
You're doing great, eh?
Good.
You trained in the early parts of the day, and then we decided to transfer it to you over there. So you continue.
I see you're walking with the rainmaker now, huh?
The beautiful thing is that the rainmaker is alive.
Yes, he's alive.
so the rain has to come down.
Everyone waxing lyrical today, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Few days ago, I was listening to you speak to a friend of yours who is a Mexican. Is that right?
Yes, right.
And then you were speaking a little bit of Mexico.
Spanish,
and then today you were able to deduce from the guy that called that is not in Nigeria, he's a Liberian.
Very true.
You're versed in so many things. That's beautiful. When you talked about looking for your bail, I was wondering, geez, man, where is this coming from? Is it Nigeria? And you mentioned it, Nick, I was like, wow, this is one beautiful good news for us in Nigeria, really,
Yeah, I mean, we can raise our shoulders now. I mean, we've got some good news. I do hope the government is listening to, so they can begin to work on many of those streets and those places,
Yes, I was just feeling like walking towards the Nikon now and taking selfies with those white guys there. I say, yeah, this is my country, it's Nigeria.
Right. Thank you very much.
Take care, man. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we have Alex from Sherry. Hello, Alex.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Alex.
Yeah, well done. Good, nice job.
Thank you very much. Well done.
All right, yeah. Let me just say a little thing concerning the South African and Nigeria.
Please go ahead.
I don't know why those South Africans that are picking offense against Nigeria. Nigerians, they are people that work hard in any state, any country they stay. A lot of them there, which I know some of my friends, they are there. They will live in South Africa, have contact in America, in Germany. People, their friends, their brother will be sending cards, sending a lot of things for them to be selling. And those South Africans that are causing all these problems, they don't even go to school. They don't even know anything. They are the ones living inside like a village like Ajagule, picking iron, bangolo, all those things. And now they are getting annoyed against Nigerians that are being wise in any country they live, doing their own business. They say they are doing drugs. They are not doing it. They are the ones smoking inside the ganja where they are staying. And now they are taking offense. And better, I didn't blame them anyway. It's because of our country, the way it is. That's why many of us are running outside to seek for where we can make our ends meet. But I thank God that so many of them are here. A lot of story will be coming out as they are coming. They will tell us how they felt and how the situation was. But I know a lot of them will still survive. Even within 1 year, many of them will still doing something and survive again.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, people. Yeah, I thank you.
Most grateful.
Yeah.
Now that I decided to want to end the big three, the call started flying. I give you Daddy CY. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, please, and I can quickly take some ads. All right, please go ahead. Hello, Daddy CY.
Yeah, I'm happy the issue is thrown to the air for us to talk about.
Great.
Don't give me 30 seconds because I spent more than 1 minute yesterday calling and nobody was ready to open me up.
Don't worry, Chukwudi is going to be on by 4, so you'll have plenty of time to talk with him. But please go ahead quickly.
This issue made me sleepless.
Oh.
First of all, for our brothers and sisters who left for South Africa, they have no blames whatsoever. Our problem is bad governance. That is why they were leaving. We have space, we have resources, but we're not managing them well. The more important one I want to strike on was the issue that a legal person, senior legal person, was discussing yesterday.
Good.
On $9.6 billion.
Right.
Am I right?
You're right.
Good. That is a very typical index of bad governance. Somebody or some people went and signed there for Nigeria. If they were not qualified to sign, they must not go to sign. We avoided mentioning corruption, but we were dancing around corruption yesterday. The highest level of corruption was the one that you go and take money and sign nonsense, you pretend not to understand, and then you bring the load back to Nigerians to suffer. Even people in the villages will suffer this. My solution base is this. Are you with me?
I'm with you, Daddy CY.
Good. Solution. All those people who signed, whether they understood what they were signing or not, must pay for this. They will pay first, they go to prison. Whatever is their asset must be sold and be put into the payment system.
All right.
And then let there be a change in our way of selecting ministers. One of the things mentioned yesterday was that we delayed in bringing out ministers, so nobody knew of that issue coming up. And then when the issue was to be mentioned in Nigeria here, for certain things to be done to avoid this type of intolerable litigation, nobody did anything.
Okay, so
because something went down, that went wrong.
Right.
Everybody involved must be punished, even from the president.
All right. Thank you very much, Daddy CY, for your great comments and contributions. And this is the conversation that will continue, I assure you, because the stories and the developments keep happening with this latest judgment from the Federal High Court in Abuja. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Chukwudi Ezekwesili will be here with Eyewitness.
The
Big Three on Hard Facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.